integer dot value of age. If you use that, this string will be converted into an integer. Now the output would be 35. It won't be any single quotes. Correct? So based on our requirements and based on our usability, we have to pick and use our data types. Understood, guys? So ID, you know exactly what is mean by ID. If you are dealing with any of the IDs, like we have the Salesforce ID. So if you want to use the Salesforce ID as an ID, you can use this ID. Okay. Also, you can use the string also to store our Salesforce object ID. Anything will be fine. Based on requirement, we can use these data types. Okay. So just try to understand these things. So later, once we are into the classes or triggers, you can understand what is the real use case of it. So now, let's say you are dealing with the first name. Okay. First name is, so in our UI, we created a first name as a field with the data type as a text. Correct? If you do that, the system will understand that the first name will be in the form of text. But in the development, how the system will understand whether the first name is a integer or a string or a decimal, right? It doesn't know it, right? So what it has to do, it has to declare the variable. Let's say I want to declare my first name with a string. If I declare something like this, now the first name is a type of string. So I can add any value to here. Let's say first name equals to Balu demo. Correct. So that the first name is a variable here. Okay. This is a data type and this is the variable. Okay. For every data type, you should have a variable, and that variable will be assigned with any value, or you can compare it with any value. Okay. Understood, guys? Still, you don't have understanding of it. So in the same way, we have a S object. So as I said, S object in the sense, the Salesforce object, which any object we can use as a data type. Let's say here, account, ACC account. So I'm declaring my account object as a data type and using the reference. Correct? In the next time, if I want to use this object reference, I can use only account, not instead of ACC OUNT, I can use just only ACCT. So which means that it will reduce my, this is called the object and object declaration. This is called the object declaration. Any declarations will be happening this way. Okay. So any other things which you want to understand? Do you guys understand about the list and map? See, the thing is, you guys needs to explore the things here. That is what I'm always trying to tell you, right? There is a lot of documentation. If you in our after the class, if you read these things, it will be very easily understand by you. Okay. When I say blob, it's a collection of binary data stored as a single object. So binary object in the sense, as I said, any of the document will be in the binary data. Okay. Whatever the document which we see, that is not the document. Inside it will have the zeros and ones. Correct. That will be converted into the blob. That is called the, so if we are dealing with any of the the attachments or the documents, that is data type of a blob. Okay. Boolean, as I said, if we are dealing with a the check boxes, true or false, he's a winner or loser, or he's a male or female, right? Anything will be is a pass or fail. Everything will be a Boolean. Date you already know. Date and time you know. Decimal you know. Double you know, right? ID. As I said, ID is the Salesforce ID, which is a 18-digit ID. Okay. Integer, long, objects. Again, this object is nothing but, if you don't know anything about what type of data it is, you can just declare as an object. Okay. It's not a subject. Don't think that object is same and a subject is same. Okay. Object is a something, it will be any type. It may be a string, it may be integer, it may be a double, or it may be anything. If you don't know the what type of data it is, you can just mention an object. Okay. You can use this object into any ways. If you want to use it as integer, you can use it as integer. If you want to use this as a string, you can use this as a string. Okay. And a string, this is normal text. Okay. So this is how you have to explore. So if you want me to tell all these things, if you see, there will be thousands of pages. Okay. To complete this explanation for each and every line, it will take us 1 year to complete these demos. Sorry, our training. Correct. So we have to understand what needs to be picked, and then what is the concept of these things. That's it. Okay. So please go through these documents and try to understand these things. So these are the just data types. When the data types will be used is when we are working on the development, and if we want to use store the data into this particular format, based on the data types, I mean based on the data, we will declare the data types. Okay. Understood, guys? And in the same collections also. So again, collection also one of the data type, correct? As I said, collections also one of the data types. So here you should understand what is collections. So yesterday I have explained about the collections, right? What is mean by list? What is mean by set? And then what is mean by map? Also, we have the list of methods. I gave you the one more link yesterday, right? So here, this is called, this list is a one class. This is one class, and this is one class. Mhm. Yes, please. Someone is speaking. Okay. Parameterized typing, right? So parameterized typing in the sense, so here, what I did, is I have assigned a value. Right? I'm passing the parameter to it. So this is called a parameter. Parameter nothing but a value. Okay. If I'm passing the value directly onto it, that is called a parameterized typing. Okay. This is called the parameterized typing. Okay. And this is called the just initializing the parameter. I mean the variable. Okay. In simple words, with variable. What is mean by variable? Anybody knows it? I'll go into deep. Okay. What is meaning of the variable? Variable is anything, right? Anything. It might be A, it might be B, it might be C, or it might be AB, it might be demo, or anything, correct? A variable is a anything which will be represents a type. Okay. Which will represents the type. Let's say if my type is string, how do I represent with the type with a variable? The variable called now is first name. Correct? My variable is first name and its data type is string. So if I want to use anything in our development, we use the variables. Okay. This is called the variable. This is called the assignment. Okay. So this variable will be declared in a many ways. Okay, declaration of a variable. So this is the one type of declaration. This is a simple declaration. Okay, the other thing is, this is called a parameterized declaration. So when we are initializing the variable that are we are assigning the value, correct? This is one way. The other way is, if you are dealing with any of the collections, okay, the collection should have to have a some space in the system, correct? When you are executing, the execution process will take the memory, right? The memory needs to be allocated for those variables. These variables, some memory has to be there, otherwise it won't store in the execution time, correct? So like that, the collections will have to have some memory. Let's say list of string. Now I'm assigning a one variable to it. The variable name is, assume that list of names. This is my variable name, and here I can initialize it. If I want to initialize some of the memory into the system, you can use the new, in the sense it will create a some space for this variable. Okay, this is called the initialization. Understood, guys? This new will instantiate some space, and then it will allocate some memory to this variable. Okay, if you want to see that, I'll show you in come on. So this is called the heap memory. So this we used to call as a heap memory. In the system, something is executed. Every variable should have to have some space in the memory. Okay, when you switch on the laptop, some some RAM is there, right? You know about the RAMs, temporary memory, right? The temporary will memory will store the information, and then you will push it to the UI. Am I correct? In the same fashion, when you are executing something in the system should have some space for each and every variables. So allocating the memory is, how to allocate the memory is by using the new. So this is called the initialization. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, this is one type. Variable name should be a continuation or underscore. There should not be any spaces. Okay, the variable should not be contains any of these spaces. List of, or you can use the underscores. Here I'm instantiating the new. Okay, which means the system will create some heap memory inside it. So this code I want to execute. So when you execute in the platform, it will take some space, and then it will try to understand the code in the back end, and it will execute, right? The programming language needs to be run in the platform, correct? If you write a Java program, or if you write any of the HTML program, the browser should understand your language, correct? To do that, the browser has its own platform to convert your English language into the mission understanding language. Okay, so now the string first name is there, and list of this one is there. Let's execute this. Look at these things. So if the name scope begins, so there is no heap allocated on this first name, correct? Since on the list of names I have allocated the heap memory, heap allocated with the 3 bytes, correct? So on the external, the total 3 bytes of memory was allocated to this variable. And the first month, I don't have any memory. Okay. The total I have allocated the 4 bytes. Internally, it will be the first name will be 1 byte, and these are the 3 bytes. And this is the total is for the 2 variable, it is consuming the 3 plus 1, right? 4 bytes as a heap allocation. So the system will allocate the memory, that is called the heap, is called the memory. That memory will be allocated. Whatever information you put, that variable will holds of it. Okay. To create a space, we have to initialize it. Okay. If I do this one here, demo user, if I try to add some of the data over here, the heap size will keep on increasing. So first it might be assigned with some scope, correct? Heap memory was assigned with the 3 bytes, and after end of this one, it became 5 because we are assigning the sum of the values, correct? And this now the total heap size will become 9. So these are nothing but internally the system should understand. So the system language needs to be needs to take our English language into the machine learning language. To do that, it has to be have some of the sizes in the memory, correct? So any declaration will take some space. This is called the initialization. When you do this initialization, so some of the types like collections are a subject, it needs an initialization. Otherwise, the system didn't accept these dot news. Okay. If you try to use this one, so directly instead of using this, what happens is the system will not allow you to do this one. So let's see here. C, attempt to dereference a null object, because the primitive data types can have without a space. Without a heap memory. But all the collections and S object should have to have a heap memory to be created in the system. That's why we use this. We initialize this space into the system. This collection required some space. Please allocate some space for this list, so that the system will allocate some space for it. Otherwise, it will be a null. And if you try to use this methods, it will say this is null. Correct? Attempt to dereference a null object. So null object in the sense it will become null. There is no space for it. So it will throw an errors. Understood, guys? Okay. So this is the declaration, and this is the initialization of any variable. This is called the variables. Okay. If I want to use this variable in anywhere, how I can use is by using the variable name only. I can use it. Correct. I have to use this variable name. If I want to print my names over here, I can use my variable name here. If I do this, whatever the value assigned to this variable will be printed over here. Correct. This also you can see here, assignment, variable assignment. If you see the variable scope was begin for the first name, okay, and list of names was scope also begin over here, and the heap memory was allocated because it's a collection. Okay. Once the collection is done, the variable assignment is happening here. Correct. This is called the parameterized type, because I'm assigning the first name equals to demo user right away. Correct. This is called the parameterized. Immediately I'm passing the information. If I pass on runtime, that is a different story. Okay. So here the variable assignment for this one is also be allocated over here. If you see here, the variable assignment for list of names also adding here. Okay. Once everything is done, you can see the debugs. Understood, guys? So this is the one thing. Another thing on the collections, as I said, right, you guys needs to be go through these things, and also I gave you this link which contains a list classes that is called a methods. What methods we can use? What is mean by add? I said yesterday, right? Add means adding a new value. Okay, add all. Add all in the sense, if I have a collection, let's say if I have collection one and collection two. Okay, uh, this is my collection one. Okay, if I have collection two here. Okay, if I want add the values of all values which are present in the collection one should be added into the collection two, then what I can do, collection two dot add all of the collection one, so that what it does now, the collection two also will have the same value of collection one. If you want to add some more extra things, I can add some more extra things over here also. Okay, that is called the add all. Okay, and clear, I can just remove all the values. Clone, I can copy of this exactly thing. Contains, yesterday I said, right, contains of what, if I want to check if this list contains of data value. Okay, whether it will be exist or not, based on the value only it will make a true or false. Okay, like that you can go and check these examples here. You will have the examples also, don't be confused. Okay, you will have the examples also. Understand, guys? Yeah. So today I just wanted to bring the new topic called SOQL. Okay, I'm not going to do any of the triggers now because I just want, I understand that you need some more information. So be prepared for the data types and collections and subjects. Now, if we understand the SOQLs and SOSLs, then only we can enter into the actual development. Until that, just understand the basic things. Okay, what is mean by the SOQL? Salesforce Object Query Language, right? Salesforce Object Query Language. So, so what is exactly meaning of it? So, if I want to retrieve some data from any object, from S object, right? Salesforce object. If I want to query the Salesforce object data, I need to have one language that is called the SOQL. Okay, and SOSL. This is also same. This is querying a language, and this is searching a language. Difference is simple. This querying language is called the SOQL. Search language is nothing but the, this is also same. Okay, but its difference is search. It won't query. It will be just search. So the example is, if you go to here, if you do something, let's say demo. This is the search, correct? You are searching a particular keyword. That keyword will be looked into this all the object, which object you want, and it will return the result. This is called the search language. So which means that if I want to search something on a particular object, I can do the SOSL. Okay, if I want to search something in my object, I can do the SOSL. If I want to retrieve the data, I'm query the data from an object, I can do the SOQL. The example is that I want to get, okay, want to get uh, today's account is my requirement. Okay, or let's say that I want to get all active accounts. How to get all active accounts in my account object? into my language. So for this one, what I have to do, I have to query the records, right? So to do that, I have a language called the SOQL. Okay. The syntax for it is, it will always within the brackets and always start with select. Okay. And here field names. Okay. And from which object? Object name. Yes, object name. Okay. This is called the simple syntax. Okay. Understood this, guys? This is a very simple syntax. If you want to write SQL, you need to remember this thing. Okay. Select your field names from your object name. Okay. Example is select ID comma name from account. So when you write this is a simple query, what is does it will get all the records because you are not putting any filter. So this is a sample thing. The other thing is filter with a filter. With filters in the sense what? Filter is nothing but the conditions, right? Conditions. How do you put your conditions into your language? Correct. Now what I asked was, I want to get all the active accounts, right? Here my condition is status equals to active. Okay. So here I want to get all the accounts status is active accounts only. So here this one will get all the accounts. Let's try to execute this. Okay. To execute this one, you can have a different methodology. You can directly execute from your from your VS Code, or else you can execute from your developer console. In your developer console, you have something called the query editor, correct? In this query editor, see here, enter SOQL or SOSL query language. You will have the example also here. Select columns from type where the predicates. Okay. Or find what in type of the fields. Okay. This is a simple syntax which is already given to you here. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to use a simple thing. So here I no need to use the brackets here. Okay. Because it is already a query editor, correct? When you are using this even into your apex or triggers, then only you have to use the brackets. Otherwise, in the query editor, you no need to use the brackets. Try to execute this. If you execute this, it will return total 18 rows, is in the sense 18 records. This is ID and this is name, right? So in our organization, we have total of 18 records present. Correct? So if you go and see this account, all accounts, we have 18 records are there. Okay. So now the thing is, now I want to make a filter on it or condition on it. How I can do the condition here? So conditions will be used with a where. Where. Okay. Where by field name. Where. What is that? Status is equals to active. Correct? Execute. No such column in this account. Okay. So just try to get the field API names, not the labels. Okay. So here in this account, fields, status. Okay, clean status. What are the values are there? Okay, no values in a clean state. Okay. Let's use, okay, let's make it as active, correct? Active, active field equals to true, because it's a boolean. You no need to mention in a single quotes. You can directly use this one. So if you use this where, in the sense, this is a condition where active equals to true. Execute now. Sorry, this is not a boolean, right? So this is a data type of the pick list. Sorry, it's a data type of pick list, so I have to mention something like this. So if you do this, it will give me only the 10 records now, where active equals to 10, correct? So we are putting the filters here. If I want to apply more filters, I can use AND operation or OR operation. You know about what is mean by AND, what is mean by OR, correct? AND means everything should be true. Again, if I put one more condition here, some on another field, and let's say source, okay, account source would be web, okay, and account source equals to web. These values are should be matched with your pick list values. So if you enter the small words or capital words, that will not be work out, okay? If you use this account source as a web, you are getting the zero records, which means the criteria is not met with these things, so your records are zero. Understanding, guys? In we are converting this into the language now, okay? Or what I can put now here is or condition, okay? Let's take one more field. uh, Industry. If I use this R, the account source is web R, industry equals to engineering. Okay. So now how it works? It will check active equals to yes, and either account source equals to web or industry equals to engineering. It will check these things. Still, it is zero records. If I want to search it more, I can make is not equals to null. If industry is not equals to null, I can fetch the record. So then you will get the again the 10 records. So here the simple things are based on our requirement. We have to put our filters here. Okay, this is called the filters. Again, one more thing we have is limit. You can set the limit how many records you want to use. Maximum, okay, you want to get only the 5 records. Limit of 5. So if you put maximum of 5, it will get only the 5, maximum of 5. Okay, you can put these limits also. Why this limit is very important? The reason is I shown you also last time in the debugs. If you see, you will have the SOQL limits, correct? Rows limits, the query rows. Everything is a row. As I said, this is a row, right? Row means a record. It will count against the things. So if you won't put that in a real time, in account record, you might have 1 lakh records or 2 lakh records, correct? Those 2 lakh records will not be able to query using this SOQL because you have a limitations. You can query only the 50,000 records in a transaction, correct? So remember, for that, to set the maximum limit, we have a limits here, and you can use any of the fields here. So whatever the fields you want to show up here, you can just use those fields here by separating the comma. Okay, one more important thing is that if you have anyone background from the SQL, they might ask this some question. Was there a simple thing called star? What they used to do is select star from the table name, which is nothing but object name here, right? So that the star will retrieve all the fields or all columns. But here in Salesforce, we don't have that option, but we have some other options. I'll tell you those things. Okay. Understand, guys, about the SOQL? When you are writing the SOQL into your Apex code, you will always assign this SOQL to the collections. Either it will be a list or map. Okay. So you have to always assign this result to a collection variable. So here the collection variable is what? List of account, list account equals to, I can put this, correct? So if you do this one now, what happens? This variable will hold all the information. 18 records of ID, comma name value will be stored into this account list of account variable. Correct? So this is how we can use our SOQLs into our Apex programming. Assign the variable, but you can't assign like this. String account name equals to SOQL. Because the SQL is a type of S object, correct? It should be type. Yes, 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 please. Yes, I can hear you. Okay. SQL means Salesforce Object Query Language. Okay. Query in the sense, if we want to get the data from the Salesforce, we will have this a particular language called the SOQL. The syntax for this one is select from. Select the field names, whichever field you want to retrieve, those field names, and from which object name. Okay. This is a simple example of it. If you want to run this SOQL, you can run through your Apex code, or if you want to run this, you can run it through the query editor. Okay. In the query editor, you can see these things. This is a simple thing. If I execute this one, it will retrieve all the records which are available in the system. Okay. So if we want to make some conditions into this language or into this SOQL, we'll put the conditions using the where condition. Where is the operator. Okay. This using this where, we can set your conditions. Here I'm putting the active equals to yes, so that out of 18 records, whichever is having active equals to yes and account source is equals to web or industry, I'll remove these things. Okay. Let's simplify this one. Account status equals to yes. Out of 18 records, whichever is having the account status is yes, those records will be retrieved over here. If you just click on the execute, now we can see only the 10 records. So out of 18, only 10 records are matched with your condition. The condition is active equals to yes. Correct? If you want to add more condition, you can use either and or conditions. No other conditions. Only two conditions here. Either and or. Okay. So by using these things, you can just make more effective. I mean, more condition. You can add more condition, and you can retrieve the data based on your requirement. Understood? And one more thing here is, always if you are writing any of these SOQLs, the SOQL should be assigned to a S object or collection of S objects only. Okay, this is very, very important. So now I can assign a collection with a S object type account. Okay. with this thing, but I can't able to assign with a single data type. So here list string comma, I mean account name, something like this, I can't able to assign because the return type of it is object. So the acceptance should also be object type. Okay, understood guys here? Since it's an account object, you have to assign to the account object only, not to a string. Okay, the sockets will always assign to a s objects. Okay, not to the primitive data types. Simply this is wrong. Okay, this is correct. Also, if you don't know what is the type of it, you can simply use object list of objects list of records equals to this. This is also a correct one. Okay, if you use this one also the correct one. But if you try to use in this way, list of strings, this one is wrong. Correct? Why? Because as I said, the sockets will accept only the objects, not the primitive data types. Okay, understand guys? Okay, cool. So as I said, you can filter using the where conditions. Correct? You can use your filters using the where condition. Also, you have a one more operator called limit operator. This limit operator will be used to retrieve the maximum number of records. Okay. Otherwise, you will be running into the limits exceptions. Okay. There is other things also called the aggregations. Aggregation sockets. Do you know about what is meant by aggregations? Aggregation operations. Sum, average, min, max. Aggregations is nothing but sum, average, minimum, maximum, right? Is called the aggregations. Also group by, order by. So these are the operators which we will frequently used in our sockets. So aggregations in the sense, if I want to get some of the value of, okay, some of the amount from my account, okay, in my account object, I might have any of the currency, annual revenue. Okay, I want to get my sum of all the revenues which is meeting the particular business criteria. Let's say here, okay, this one. So now what I can do here is sum of annual revenue from account where account active equals to yes. Correct? So now what it does, it will accumulate, I mean, what it does, it will get all the revenues of the 10 records. Okay, before I do this, let me explain you in this simple way. Okay. Source. So if you see here, now you have annual revenues here, right? Now, wherever the account equals active equals yes, I just wanted to get all the sum of the annual revenue. How to get it? Correct? I want to somehow get the sum of the all the annual revenues where active equals to yes. So in general thing, but and what you'll do, you'll take your calculator and you will start entering these values. Correct? these things. So 30 million plus 30 million plus 139 million, right? Something like that you will do. Am I correct? Or if it is a programming, you will start assigning plus 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 plus. So in a simple words, how I can do it? By using the SOCL language. We'll have a sum operator of annual revenue, okay, from your account, where account equals to active. So now if you see this one, instead of the 10 records, it is returning only one record with the total revenue of the value. Understood, guys? This is called the aggregation of the SOCL. So here you can have a, as I said, so here you will have a sum, max, average, minimum. So if I want to do with average of annual revenue, what is my average revenue? This is my average revenue, correct? If I want to, what is my maximum revenue which I'm having out of all the 10 records? What is my maximum value? So 56 million is my maximum, correct? What is my minimum? So 30 is my minimum, correct? So that is how you will use these aggregation operations. Okay, understood, guys? Okay, so please look into this documentation, and until now whatever I have explained, use these things. Okay, I will explain you group by and order by here. Okay, so group by in the sense what? Group by, group by in the sense, if I want to group some of the group members into a single branch or a single group, let's say that if my, I want to combine group all the industries, so I mean I want to group the accounts by industry wise. Okay, so which means what? I have a lot of industries, correct, in my account. If you go to here, account industry, where are you, industry? Here I'm going to use this id comma industry. I'm going to remove this where condition also. If you see in industries, you have construction, consulting, appeal, energy, right? I can see the duplicate industries here, so I want to group all these energy into a one record, I mean one entity, and the biotechnology as a one, and apparel is a one, construction is a one, right? So so this is meaning of group by a separate a something. So now I'm grouping by an industry. Now in the real world, if I want to group all the employees who are related to the IT, I want to group all the employees who are related to the HR. I want to group all the employees who are related to the finance, right? So that is called grouping, grouping of a people. In the same way, if I want to identify a people based on the some group, I can use the group by. Okay. Here, what I have to use here is I want to group with my industry. Okay. So here, if I want to group my industry, what I have to do is group by industry. Okay, ID I should not be used, because if I'm going to use the ID, I have to use my the group by function. Whichever field you are using in the group by, that fields only you can able to use here. Okay, see here. Now you can see only the 11 records instead of 18 records. Correct? Instead of 18 records, you can see 11 records, because you can have the count also here. Okay, count of industries. Come on, count of ID. See here, industry wise, if you want to check what are the the things, there is one industry which has a 6 count, and one industry will have a 3 counts, correct? So 3 accounts are related to the one particular industry, correct? So let me industry. See here, 6 industries doesn't have any industry, so which is a blank. Okay, energy industries are 3 accounts are related to the energy industry. Am I correct? And remaining are only 1 industries, so only 1 record with each industry. Only the energy will have the 3 account records. So this is nothing but the group by. Okay, order by. What is meaning of order by? Order by in the sense, if we want to display the values in an order, let's say descending order or ascending order. You guys know the descending order or ascending order, right? So if I want to display order by using my created date, order by created date descending order. So which means that, okay, this is not here. So let me take this one, ID comma industry. So we won't use group by and these things. Yeah, so here order by created date with the descending order. If you see here, it will show the created descending order. If you want to check the date also, you can use the date over here. See here, it is in the descending order, correct? This created latest one and this is one less next. So descending means decreasing, ascending order. You can use ASC as ascending order. Okay, so the latest date will be on top and then the remaining things will be increasing. Understood, guys? So you can use any order by anything. Order by industry also you can use. So if I don't want to use this created date, I can use my industry. So now it will be ordered. Ascending order means blank to A, B, C, D, right? See here. So if I say descending, it will display from the P. This is order, which means the sorting. Okay. Understood, guys? Please go through these things. Okay, I'll share these things in our chart. Okay, I just want you to explore again, do practice on these things. Okay. Okay, guys. We can have some more information tomorrow. I have to jump into other things. Okay. I'll share these things with you. Okay. Okay.